Boozed and Confused is a comedy and weird topic podcast. Adult language may be used, probably by me. While our episode topics may be educational in nature, we are not responsible if your children start dropping the F-bomb to their kindergarten class. Listener discretion is advised. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, hey.
If you can't tell, Matt has so much impatience behind his yeah, hey. So, hi, I'm Carolanne.
This is Matt.
Welcome back to another episode of Boozed and Confused. Or maybe it's your first time, and welcome.
It's the place you go when it's
You
literally
got nothing else.
just rock bottom.
You have a me episode today. Before we get into the me episode, some notes. We're on all your favorite social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Let's see, if you want to reach out to us, send us a message on any of those platforms, or send us an email at boozedandconfusedpodcast@gmail.com. I am just getting like some spam, maybe some duplicate like coupons, which is kind of nice for some of my favorite retailers.
Hit me up with those coupons.
And what else? If you like the pod and you want to support us, the best way you could do that is by leaving us a review and or subscribing wherever you get your podcasts. I always appreciate it. And if you leave a review, you take a screenshot and you send it to us, we'll send you some shit in the mail for free. Not actual
cat shit. Actual cat
shit. We
shit.
have a lot of Boozed and Confused stickers that we are going to send to your house. You're going to need a forklift to get it out of the front lawn.
Yeah, they're actually in the crawl space now, I think.
Are they?
No, they're like right
I
there.
Hope not. Okay, great. The last one is, what are you drinking?
Oh, well, I was going to do that Kirkland Whiskey we got.
Yeah, it's pretty good, actually.
Do you like it?
I'm saying,
what do you like about it?
I'm being called out. You know I don't drink whiskey, but I'm affirming your interest in it.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I actually was sipping on it the other day, and I was like, why do I like whiskey again?
Yeah.
I do like whiskey, though. No, I'm having a Revolution Brewing, a little crazy Belgo. It's Belgio. It's a Belgian style.
Of course.
Pale ale. And it reminds me a lot of like Golden Monkey.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
I like the Belgian ales. They're like kind of spicy almost. I am way more excited to hear about what you are drinking.
I don't know.
These have been in the fridge for a hot minute.
We bought these on clearance at Mariano's, which is where I go to get all my beer. So this is Ruffino Wine Spritz Limonada. It's an Italian wine with sparkling water and natural lemon flavor. Oh, God. I have not had one yet. You probably heard me opening it, but we're going to try it right now, live on the air.
Oh, I'm going to bet it tastes...
It does not smell good.
Oh, this is why it's on clearance.
I can tell you that.
Then
it doesn't smell
you got to
great.
pass that over here.
Oh, that is not good.
Pass it.
Oh, that is not good.
Pass it. I got to try it.
Oh, God. It's like I went into my grandma's liquor cabinet 20 years after she died and took a sip expecting it to be okay. That is not refreshing. That does not taste good. I bought it because I was like, what a nice summer drink.
Italian wine with sparkling water and natural lemon flavor. My first sip, I'm not sure. My second sip, we can
aftertaste
start
is terrible.
The pod. Let's get this. Let's get this going.
We can switch if you want. Great. Not getting better.
It's not getting better. Let me try again. How much alcohol's on this?
Not enough. Sorry, Ruffino, if you were going to sponsor us.
We were just about to send the check.
All right. So while Matt's deciding if he likes the shit or not, which I'm pretty sure he does not, we are going to talk about a major historical event in the United States that I had no idea happened until like this week when I stumbled upon it. So not it's not 9/11.
I just figured that happened.
Stop it. So we're talking about the Johnstown Flood, which is supposedly called America's deadliest flood, if you're not counting things that happen from like hurricanes. So the deadliest non-hurricane flood. All right, are you following? So Johnstown is in Pennsylvania. It was founded in 1800, but it all started with the building of like the Pennsylvania Main Line Canal in 1836, and then construction of the Pennsylvania Railroad and Cambria Iron Works in the 1850s. So the railroad and the ironworks are important to note because it'll kind of be like a big point later on. But it was a population of like 30,000, and it was a big growing industrial community because of the quality of steel.
It's a booming city right there.
It was a booming city, especially for the 1850s. Yeah.
Yeah, it's industrial times.
Yeah.
We're growing. We're booming.
Yeah. Yeah. So this area where Johnstown is, it's like close to riverfront areas. Which unfortunately means that it's like prone to flooding because of the location. So adding to that, there's like a lot of slag from the iron furnaces of the steel mills that's being dumped along the river to create more land for building. Yay, capitalism.
Slag.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So because developers were like throwing all this shit into the river and they were artificially narrowing the riverbed to maximize early industries, that obviously leaves the city a little bit more flood prone than it was before, just naturally. So above the city, there's like the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania South Fork Dam that was built between 1838 and like 1853, and it's part of this like cross-state canal system, the main line of public works. So Johnstown is like the eastern terminus of the Western Division Canal, supplied with like water by the lake nearby. The lake is called Lake Conemaugh.
Ooh,
I didn't look
like
up
that
how to
second
pronounce
one.
this. Conemaugh.
Conemaugh.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyways, this is like the reservoir that's behind the dam that was built. So, railroads start superseding canal bridge transport, and the Commonwealth is like, fuck this place, and sells it to the Pennsylvania Railroad. So then the dam and the Lake Conemaugh.
Can we call it a darn?
No.
Can we call it a darn? All this foul language. I really only have such a limit.
That was it. That was the limit.
It's like three
hex and 1 5. So the dam and the lake are part of the purchase, and the railroad sells them to private interests naturally because that's where the highest bidder comes in.
Of course.
So you're gonna love this. A guy named Benjamin Ruff. Just sounds like a fucking dick.
Ooh, wow.
Buys the abandoned reservoir, modifies it, and pretty much converts it into this like boys only club, this like private resort lake for wealthy associates.
It's a boys club?
Yeah,
it was like a sweat lodge.
I'm pretty sure it was like men only.
No. Is it still open?
No. I don't know if you'd want to go. I do think that the building stands as like a museum these days.
Okay.
So.
Lost interest.
Yeah. So a lot of these associates are connected through business and like social links to Carnegie Steel. What?
It rings a bell.
Yeah, the name.
Carnegie Steel.
Carnegie. So as they're doing development on this, they start lowering the dam to make its top wide enough to hold a road. They put a fish screen in the spillway, which is not great. I'm sure they're, of course, consulting engineers and architects as they're doing all of this very important work to a very high-profile lake that's being held up by a reservoir. So, they had this system of relief pipes and valves that I think is pretty common in dams. I'm not a dam engineer. I'm not a darn engineer. But so the original system had these relief pipes and valves, but those were sold off for scrap, I guess, when all this shit was put up for sale, and they never replaced it. So they were just like, it's like when you're putting something together and you have like 2 screws left at the end of it, and you're like, are these important?
Always a little concerned after building the 6-foot-tall bookshelf from IKEA, and you're like, what's this?
Did they give us extras?
What's this extra bag for? Or like Legos?
Yeah. Well, if it's Lego, I feel like you have a problem. Does Lego just give you extra pieces? It's like
there's
gold.
Always a couple extra pieces.
Well, I missed an instruction in there somewhere. I must have. So when you take away these pipes and shit, the club pretty much had no way to lower the water level in the event that there was like an emergency in the lake, and they, if it was like overflowing or something.
They'll be fine.
Yeah, no, they'll be fine.
How many times has this water gotten over the top anyways?
Yeah, like maybe once or twice.
The odds are in our favor then.
So there's this group called this Pittsburgh Speculators. They built cottages. There's like a clubhouse they put up to create the South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club. And it's an exclusive and private mountain retreat because it's in like a valley, So they have about like 50 wealthy steel, coal, and railroad industrialists as their members. And Lake Conemaugh, yeah. Was about 450 feet in elevation above Johnstown. That's pretty important to remember.
That's a lot of water to be above you.
Yeah.
It's a lot of water.
Yeah. So the lake's like 2 miles long, a mile wide, and about 60 feet deep near the dam. And the dam is about 72 feet high, 931 feet long. All right.
I just like to live above water level.
Yeah. I think we're like 2 feet above sea level.
Over here?
Yeah, probably. Maybe it's like 10 feet.
I will confirm this.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Yeah, go ahead. So May 28th, 1889, there's like this massive fucking storm that comes through. There's like 6 to 10 inches of rain that falls in 24 hours over the area. So during the night, these small creeks that are running through become like these huge torrents. They rip out trees. They're bringing a bunch of debris with them. They're taking down telegraph lines, the telegraph. And they start like washing away rail lines. That's how fast this shit was moving and how much debris that they had with it. So, before morning really even hit, or I guess like daylight even hit, the river that ran through Johnstown was about to like overwhelm the banks. So May 31st, you just fast forward, a couple of days. Elias Unger, who's the president of the South Fork Fishing and Hunting Club, wakes up and Lake Conemaugh is swollen after a night-long heavy rainfall.
Swollen.
Such an uncomfortable word.
These old world folks have such a way with words.
Yeah, they really do.
The lake was swollen with water. 597 feet above sea level.
Oh, so we're fine. For now. So, Unger runs outside. It's like still pouring rain, and he's trying to figure out what to do with this situation. And he sees that the water is like pretty much cresting the dam. So he's like, "Oh shit." Oh.
It's like when you pour water into a cup and you get that little and you see how far you can go.
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
And then you get one drip over and you're like, "Oh no." Yeah, except I'm sure his was a little bit more dramatic than "oh no." Yeah. So he gets this group of guys together to save the face of the dam. But they're trying to like unclog the spillway because it's blocked by the broken fish trap that they'd fucking put in, and all this debris that was, from the swollen water line. So dudes try to like dig a ditch at the other end of the dam. Didn't really do anything. The idea was to let more water out of the lake, to try to like prevent overtopping the crest. That did not help. Did not work.
Too little, too late.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. just didn't work at all.
I think there were just a lot of things that failed here. Yeah.
He's like, let's go, gang. Let's go, fishing club. Let's go fix that dam.
Mighty teens, assemble. So, they're still trying to like work on a bunch of other shit. They're trying to like pile mud and rock on the face to save the wall that's eroding. Clearly not going to help. So there's like an engineer for the club who's like, maybe we just cut through the dam's end, and like release some pressure so that it's not the entire fucking thing.
Just a small hole will do.
But then I think maybe comes to his senses and he's like, yeah, actually the entire thing would just collapse. So what's crazy is, John Park, who's that engineer that I talked about, rides on horseback to a telegraph office in South Fork to send warnings to Johnstown saying that, hey, shit's not looking good at the dam. Y'all should maybe prepare. So Park didn't personally take a warning message to the telegraph tower. He sent a man instead, and the warnings weren't passed on to the authorities because there had been a lot of false alarms in the past of, hey, the dam is about to break. It's like a boy who cried wolf situation.
Fooled me once, kid. You got me that first time. Everyone left town.
Yeah, pretty much.
Stole all their eggs.
So remember, the president or whatever the fuck he was, wakes up in the morning and sees this happening. So they're all still working through the late morning, the afternoon, and they all pretty much say fuck it at 1:30. Time to wrap it up. Time for a union break. So, they are all ordered to fall back to higher ground on both sides of the dam. And they did nothing but just wait and watch after that, because I guess there's really nothing that you could do. What are you supposed to do in that situation? So meanwhile, in Johnstown, it's already flooded there because of the rain and the river and the torrents.
Right, yes.
So the water was as high as 10 feet in the street in Johnstown before the dam even breaks, which is pretty fucking crazy. So people start getting trapped in their houses, obviously. So between 250 and 255, the South Fork Dam breached, and it contained supposedly like 3.8 billion gallons of water at the time that it broke.
Good heavens.
Yeah.
With a B. Yeah, that's a lot of water.
Yeah. So some very smart people who work with this stuff daily and know how to, calculate this shit, put this into like a model for modern day and estimated that it took about 65 minutes for most of the lake to empty after the dam began to fall.
That's alarmingly quick.
Yeah.
Yes, that's alarmingly quick.
Super fast. So South Fork is the first town to get hit with all this flooding water. It's on high ground. Most of the people could see the shit coming. So they start running up to nearby hills, and only about, 20 and 30 houses are destroyed and 4 people are killed. Which is unfortunate, but compared to what we're about to get into, they got off pretty lucky, I think. So keeps going downstream to Johnstown. It's like 14 miles west. Water keeps picking up debris like trees and houses and animals. And, at the Conemaugh, I really should have looked this up. I think it's Conemaugh Viaduct. There's a 78-foot high railroad bridge that the flood is like momentarily stemmed by when debris is like jammed, against the arch.
Yeah. It sounds like it's going to be like a catapult, though. It's like all that build up, and it's going to give out, and you're going to have like a giant train flying at you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much it. So like 7 minutes later, the viaduct collapses. The flood resumes its course, but, because of the delay, the floodwaters gained, renewed hydraulic head, which was pretty much just a stronger, more abrupt wave of water hitting places downstream than maybe otherwise would have been if it had just flowed naturally without that built up pressure. Mm-hmm. So Mineral Point is like, a mile below the viaduct. It's the first populated place to be hit with the renewed force, and like 30 families lived on the village's single street. There's no structures left, no topsoil, no subsoil. The death toll was like 16 people.
It's like almost everybody.
Yeah.
30 families, 16. Everyone lost something.
Yeah, exactly. It was like nobody really gets out unscathed sort of situation. So East Conemaugh is next. Conemaugh, I feel like I've changed the way I've pronounced it at least 7 times.
We'll find a third way of saying it before the end.
So they said that there's like a witness on high ground. I'd love to know like how they kept these historic documents. Did they interview them afterwards?
Everyone, I have the high ground. Come up here. I have the high ground.
Appropriate timing with Obi-Wan ending this week. So the eyewitnesses said that it was like a huge hill rolling over and over. Like that's how fucking big and powerful this water stream was.
Yes.
Yeah, which is crazy. So there's this guy named John Hess who's like an engineer of a locomotive that just unfortunately happens to be passing through at this very moment. So he feels the rumbling of this flood approaching. Ooh. And he's like, fuck this. This can't be good. Throws the locomotive into reverse, races backwards towards East Conemaugh, and starts blowing the whistle constantly to give people a warning, which actually ends up helping. Like his warning saved a shitload of people who were able to get to higher ground. So he's probably a hero.
Why is that train going backwards? We should probably get out of here. This guy's crazy.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I don't know. I don't hear train whistle and think like there's a massive flood approaching. I should get out of my house. So the flood hits. It actually picks up the locomotive that John is in. He survives. There's like 50 other people that died. 25 of them were people stranded on trains in the village, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
So right before it hits Johnstown, it hits the Cambria Iron Works in the town of Woodvale. It picks up railroad cars and barbed wire.
Oh, no.
God, as if like that shit couldn't get worse. So Woodvale at this point has 1,100 residents. 314 of them died in the flood. That's how bad it was there. So not only did they have to worry about the flood waters, but boilers were actually exploding when the flood hit, the wire works, and there's like black smoke apparently seen by residents, within like a 30-mile radius. Yeah, not fun. And you still got to remember the barbed wire. So about 57 minutes after the dam collapsed, it finally hits Johnstown. Residents had no idea that this was coming. There was no warning. They didn't have, a train engineer blowing his horn and getting people all alerted. So people are really caught off guard. The floodwaters are traveling at speeds of 40 miles an hour and reached a height of 60 feet.
That's a big old wall of water.
Isn't that fucking crazy?
That's a lot of water.
Think about how tall our house is.
It's not 60 feet.
It's not 60 feet. It's probably, I actually don't know how tall our house is.
Next time I'm up there, yeah. I'll
we'll do
bring
some
a tape
measurements.
measure.
I'm just trying to like visualize how tall 60 feet is, and that's fucking crazy. So, people see this starting to come by, and because, it's moving so quickly, most of them don't escape. They really try to make it for higher ground, and most of them are actually crushed by debris. Other, get caught up in barbed wire from the factory upstream. People reached like attics or roofs, in like a last-ditch effort to stay alive, or they're staying afloat on pieces of floating debris, and then they're waiting hours for help to arrive. I also imagine there's a lot of people who maybe waited in buildings and then the building got swept away.
Right.
a lot of this information is coming from, I have like 3 main sources. The biggest one is Wikipedia, but there's pictures of everything, and you should absolutely check out the photos of the damage after in Johnstown. It's fucking crazy. Like, it's just absolutely massive what the damage is.
I'm gonna take a little peek.
Yeah, take a peek.
Take a little peek. Get a little genuine reaction here.
So Johnstown has something called the Stone Bridge. It's this arched structure, but it carried the Pennsylvania Railroad across the river, and the debris that was carried by the flood formed a temporary dam at the bridge, which resulted in the flood surge rolling upstream along the Stony Creek River. And eventually, obviously, the, surge returns to the dam. There's like a second wave of water that hits the city from a different direction. So, some people have been washed downstream. They're trapped in like an inferno as the debris that piles up against the bridge catches fire. So Johnstown's just not having a good time.
I just saw a picture. It was a painting. It wasn't a picture, but it was people like kneeling and screaming into the sky while a bridge is on fire, and there's water and dead people everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy pictures. There was like a whole tree just like horizontally hanging
like through a house. Yeah. Crazy. So in that like inferno that happened, there's like at least 80 people who die here. The fire burned for 3 days because it obviously the area is a disaster, hard to maintain control of. So the pile of debris that was, at the bridge covered like 30 acres, and it was 70 feet tall, which is insane. So it takes workers like 3 months to actually remove the massive debris, and the delay was because there was so much fucking barbed wire that the workers that were there had to be incredibly careful because they were just getting entangled in the wreckage.
Who put all this barbed wire here? Pretty
much. So they got to a point where they were like, fuck it, and then just use dynamite for everything.
It's already burning.
So what's crazy to me is the total death toll from the flood is calculated at 2,209 people, which is like, for the time, obviously the largest loss of civilian life in the U.S. The number of deaths, 2,200 people, is surpassed by fatalities in the 1900 Galveston hurricane, that's in Texas, and the 9/11 attacks. So this is like, I think, the third deadliest.
That's impressive.
That's accurate. And what's also crazy to me is bodies were found as far away as Cincinnati, Ohio, which is like 400 miles away, which is fucking crazy to me. And as late as 1911. So this happened in, 1889? 1911, they were finding bodies like far the fuck away from Pennsylvania.
You couldn't be like, some guy killed another guy. Go, oh, I found another body from that flood. Remember that? You're
still
thing?
Warm.
Wow.
Yeah. So I also looked this up on Google Maps, and you could definitely do the same if you're interested. But a third of the dead were never identified, and so their remains were buried in the plot of the unknown at Johnstown's Grandview Cemetery. It's like 777 people. And somebody took a picture, so you can look at Google Maps. Somebody took a picture of this like plot of the unknown. It's super eerie. It's just like very similar small headstones, kind of. They actually kind of resemble like military headstones, actually, but much smaller, and I don't think there's anything written on them.
Did Google Street View have like a before and after of the flood?
No.
Why? You'd think they'd have that footage.
No, I don't think they did. I could give it a look. Maybe they
I'll check
have
out
something.
Google Maps.
Yeah, okay,
I'll check it out.
Yeah. So the Johnstown flood is like the worst flood to hit the U.S. in the 19th century. It's like $17 million in property damage, which is like over 500 million in modern times.
Yeah, you got to inflate that a little bit.
Yeah, a lot of it. And 4 square miles of downtown Johnstown was completely destroyed. So cleanup for this shit really lasted like years.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of relief workers that come in at the peak. It's about 7,000 at one time working on efforts around this flood, which is crazy. A little bit of interesting information is Clara Barton. Does that name ring a bell?
It does.
What does it ring a bell for?
Clara, Doctor Who.
No, that's very close, but no. Yeah, okay. So she's the founder and president of the American Red Cross, and this is like their first big initiative, which is wild.
I was just gonna say that you.
Yeah, it was
you definitely called me out.
Yeah. So she gets there June 5th, 1889. She was there for like over 5 months, which is wild. Donations for relief effort came from all over the country, but also like 18 foreign countries, which is
so
super
heartwarming.
Cool.
They're like Telegram 555 with your $1 donation.
Yeah, I really have to wonder like how that worked out, but they collected like $3.7 million for relief efforts, which was pretty neat.
Wow, so that again, you got to inflate that. That's a lot. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it also included a donation from the Ottoman Empire.
It's like the last good thing they did.
Well, I guess I'll die now. So there's a committee called the ASCE committee that does their investigation report on January 15th of 1890, but they seal the report and they don't share it with any members or the public, which is fucking crazy. So then they have an annual convention later in 1890, and a committee member says, "We will hardly publish our investigation report this session unless pressed to do so, as we do not want to be involved in any litigation." So stop drinking it. You don't have to drink it.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I know you don't like it. I don't like it. That's why I took one sip. And I said, "Sorry, Ruffino. Now I know why you were on clearance."
Now I know why you were on clearance. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Oh, you know why? It says to serve with a fresh slice of lemon.
Oh, is that to provide more lemon flavor?
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't know about that. Yeah, so there's this whole investigation that's done, and there's a lot of differences, I think, in the what am I trying to say? Industry, maybe. Some people think that what the private club did, like totally hampered its ability to prevent the flood. Others say that it would have happened regardless because there were like faults within the dam itself. So it's hard to know, but what's really fucking crazy is like some of the survivors of this flood blamed the club, obviously, for the modifications of the dam leading to this flood happening. Mm-hmm. And so the club was defended in court. No one was ever held legally responsible. They considered it like an act of God, mm-hmm. and not a penny was paid by these assholes to the survivors of the flood. So you pretty much lose everything. I don't know if home insurance is really a thing back then.
Yeah,
I'm sure flood insurance isn't.
I'm just going to ask.
Yeah, no. But what I will say is like there were individual members of the club who were millionaires in their day who contributed to the recovery in Johnstown. Some threw like thousands of dollars to the relief effort. It's just kind of fucking crazy that nobody was ever held responsible for this.
Well, we all know that the rich folk just did that for a tax write-off, right? Well,
yeah.
I did donate to the flood relief.
Yeah, of course. A pretty penny. But that's the fucked up story of the Johnstown flood that killed over 2,000 people not that long ago in our country's history. Yeah, I hope you learned something new today, because this was fucking wild for me to read about.
They're like, we just got through the Civil War.
Yeah. Everything's coming up Millhouse.
Everything's gonna be great.
Oh yeah. Well, that was it for today. So I hope you enjoyed it or didn't, and you still listened this far. So good for you.
Yeah, think I'm gonna go buy some sandbags.
Yeah, sounds great.
Just in case.
For the flood.
Just in case.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, see you next time.
Dig some trenches, y'all.
Bye.
Ta-ta.